So you see this? This right here is one of the big reasons why you're struggling making shots, and a big reason why you miss a lot to the side of the rim. So guy hand thumb flick, right? Let's talk about it. What is a guy hand thumb flick? A guy hand thumb flick is when we go to release our shot, and upon that release, we would flick the ball with our thumb at the end. Thumb of our guy hand, right? Which in 99%, if not 99.5% of the times, is going to negatively affect our shot. Give the ball a little funky, weird spin, will make the ball go to the side of the rim and not in a straight line. However, there are some exceptions to the rule, right? There are some players that have figured out how to be able to be a successful shooter with a thumb flick. First one that comes to mind is a notorious one, and that is Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving has a pretty bad thumb flick. However, he managed to figure out how to be a successful shooter, how to still keep proper rotation and a straight line shot when he shoots it, right? I believe Cam Thomas on Brooklyn Nets, he's another player that can shoot it at a high clip, and he has a pretty mean thumb flick. However, moving on to part two, if you watch the rest of the top NBA players, elite shooters, those players keep their hand like this after their release. So their hand never opens up towards the basket, and their thumb never flicks the ball. So unlike Kyrie or let's say Cam Thomas, who do thumb flick the ball, okay, when they shoot it, the rest of the players who are elite shooters, they all keep their hand sideways like this when they release it, okay? They do not actually flick the ball on their release, which, you know, for the past 5-6 years, after working with hundreds of players of different levels, okay, different ages on their jump shot, so many players struggle with flicking the ball with their guy hand thumb. And I would say I've only worked with 2 players in the past 6 years that I did not change guy hand thumb flick because they were shooting the ball at a pretty high clip. But the rest of the players, once we got rid of this, their shot has become so much more accurate and they became better overall shooters. So my message is, if you are making shots at a high level, okay, at a high clip with a guy hand thumb flick, please do not change that. Please continue to shoot that way. So if I'm, let's say for instance, working with Kyrie or Cam Thomas, I'm not touching that, right? I'm just gonna allow those guys to shoot with that thumb flick because they are capable shooters. However, for the most part, that guy hand thumb flick affects us negatively, okay? And that's just all across the board with all the players that I've worked with. Those who had thumb flicks were not good shooters whatsoever. Once we fixed that, that has changed for them, and they have become so much better at shooting the ball. So today, what I want to do is I want to give you guys drills that you can do on your own in order to get rid of that guy hand thumb flick, okay? So I'm going to try to go, you know, quick, get straight to the point, which drill is designed for what, how many reps, how many times, you know, per day, per week, or whatever. Just give you guys all the numbers that I think that you need to have in order to be able to get rid of that thumb flick as fast as you possibly can. So without further ado, let's get to it. So drill number 1 will be one hand form shooting, but there's 2 things I really want you to focus on. Thing number 1, I want to make sure that I place my hand, I place that index finger down the middle of the ball. So not to the side, but right down the middle of the ball, splitting that ball with my index finger. And then 2, I want to use my guy hand, but I want to keep it off the ball. So that way I simulate that real jump shot motion and not just shoot like this with one hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my guy hand on the ball where I usually would, but then once I do this, I will remove it. So that way I'm going to still shoot with just one hand. I'm going to practice just releasing it with one hand without any kind of thumb flick, right? But still keeping that guy hand and follow the ball as I go up, right? So when I'm gonna do this drill, I would be here, guide hands off the ball, and I will shoot it. I will still extend my guide arm. I will keep it straight sideways like this, and I will just shoot. So that way I'm working on that natural jump shot motion and not just do this here where my guide hand just hanging out by my waist. So that's gonna be my drill number 1, and I'm about to show you how to do it and how many reps. So initially, I want you guys to start close to the basket in the paint, and let's do 5 spots, right? So just like we do regular 3-point shooting 5 spots, we're gonna do here the exact same thing. And I would say anywhere from 30 to 50 makes per spot. So as you guys have noticed, I did mix it up a little bit. I was making some shots off the backboard and then some shots with no backboard, right? Just to kind of mix it up, build that touch up in 2 different ways. So please do that. And now my second drill is gonna be very similar, but with one simple addition. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to put our guide hand on the ball without any of the 5 fingers touching it, right? So we're gonna go here, boom, all 5 fingers are completely disengaged from the ball. And we're just gonna keep palm on the side of the ball here, boom, and we're gonna start our shot. So now I'm going to move to my second spot. So each drill I will move to the second spot, but what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to do each drill from all 5 spots. And like I said, 30 to 50 makes each spot. Now, if you guys are paying close attention, I'm doing something that most players, when they do these drills, are just simply refusing to do, and that is being patient and not rush. So many players that I work with, when we give them these drills, they just like, as soon as they get that ball, they just shooting it, right? Like there's no patience whatsoever. Therefore, results are not always gonna come out of that, right? So what we wanna do is, on each shot, be patient. Get it to our set point. Make sure everything is properly set. And only then shoot the ball. So now, my next drill will be something very similar, but now we're adding 4 of our fingers on the ball and keeping thumb disengaged off the ball. So we're gonna be like this, okay? Guide hands on the ball, and then thumb's gonna be completely disengaged when I'm gonna shoot. All right, guys, now my next drill is I want to put all of my 5 fingers of my guide hand on the ball, but I want to execute my jump shot in 2 motions. So I want to get to the top towards my set point, pause, hold it there a little bit, make sure that everything is properly set, and then shoot. So break it down into 2 motions. And now my last drill, I just want to shoot a normal form shot with all 5 fingers on the ball in one motion, just non-stop, and keeping that guy hand sideways. Now, some other methods that we can use is, I know a lot of players like to do when they fix their thumb flick, and that's to tape, okay, these 2 fingers, so their index finger and their thumb finger with the tape, right? So I don't have an actual tape, so I'm using a painter's tape. Obviously, you know, not the best, but you know, just to kind of show you like what it will look like. So they would tape these 2 fingers when they shoot, right? So they would now hold the ball, and this tape will prevent from a thumb flick and the index finger to open up, so it'll just keep them straight for you, right? I usually prefer to do the drills that I just showed you guys, because to me, it feels like a more natural way of fixing a thumb flick without needing to rely on like, you know, a specific object. But, you know, for some players, it does work, right? So maybe it will work for you as well. So just something, you know, that you can play with and test it out. And also another one that people like to use is, I don't have a quarter or a coin on me, right? But I have this wall outlet cover. So just to kind of show you guys, so they would usually put like any kind of coin, usually it's a quarter, like a bigger coin, in between their thumb and their index finger like this, and they will press on it really, really hard, so that way it doesn't fall off. So now that their thumb can't move, and so then they're just gonna go and then shoot it, right? So that's 2 different methods that you guys can try it out and see if it will help you fix your thumb flick. But like I said, for me personally, I prefer those drills because to me it's more of a natural way of fixing a thumb flick without needing to rely on anything else but ourselves. A big thing that I would like to point out to you guys is that a lot of players feel that they can just do these drills one time and it should be automatically fixed, okay? Well, it doesn't usually work that way, okay? To get rid of something like a thumb flick, which to you, if you have it, is probably a habit that was built, you know, over time, over years, you know, like years of shooting, right? Years of playing the game. So it's not gonna, so years worth of shooting, or let's say even months worth of shooting with a thumb flick, okay, is not going to be fixed in one workout, in one day, okay? So it's gonna take you a lot of practice, a lot of reps, right? Like, let's say I know players that are able to keep that hand sideways and not flick when they're shooting from up close, but once they take that step back and they shoot from 3-point range, or sometimes even like some mid-range shots, they go back to doing this, okay? Thumb flick, you know, a lot of people do that because when they were younger and they didn't have enough strength, they would usually tend to push the ball with 2 hands on the shot, right? So that's why thumb flick is such a big issue, right? We want to have shot to be only done with 1 hand. Yes, guy hand will hold it, but the release will only happen with our shooting hand, and our guy hand will not flick it, right? So just make sure that you take your time with it, right? That you put, you know, good amount of reps for each drill from all 5 spots, and then gradually start working your way back, right? And then start taking middies, then start taking some jump shots, maybe 1 dribble to the right, 1 dribble to the left. Then once you're comfortable there and you feel like your hands stay straight and there's no flicking, then move back to the long range, right? But just work yourself gradually back to that point, okay? Like don't just start shooting long range shots like this, right? And then once you completed all the drills from up close to the basket, right? Then you can start doing those same drills, but then from either mid-range or long range, and then just build yourself up that way. But it's gonna take time, okay? For some people, it might be a couple of weeks. For some people, it might be a couple of months. For some people, it might be a year, if not longer. It just depends, right? It just depends how bad of a habit that is to you, how easily it is for you to break habits, and how much work you actually put in. So it all just depends based on those many factors, right? So go ahead, start with those 5 drills. If you want to use a coin method or a tape method, you're more than welcome. I don't think it can hurt, right? I'm not saying that I'm necessarily a big fan, but I definitely say if those 5 drills that I just showed you, if they're not really doing it for you, then maybe a coin or a tape might enhance that, might speed up that process for you, okay? So just know that it's gonna take time, okay? But it's gonna be worth it, okay? But then I'll say it one last time, if you are shooting with a Thumbflick and you are successful, then please do not change it, right? There are exceptions to the rule, right? But the majority, the rule is that players hold their hands sideways like this. And no, Steph does not flick. What Steph does is he just simply tucks his left thumb a little bit. Steph doesn't actually have this whipping motion, that flicking motion with entire hand and his thumb. Steph just sometimes tucks it, and sometimes he doesn't, right? But the most that he does, he just tucks that thumb in, but it's actually not flicking the ball. So I hope this helps. Please go get to it. Please start doing this daily, and I promise you, sooner or later, hopefully sooner, your shot will be fixed, and it will be with a proper backspin. It will be going in a straight line, and it won't be missing to the side. So thank you guys so much for tuning in again. I will keep dropping these tutorials. I was going a little bit for the holidays, but now I'm back, and I'm gonna keep pushing these out weekly, probably anywhere from 2 to 4 tutorials every week. So please tune in, like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Let's get it.